the potential mind games where you throw that staggered utility and you lean into an execute where, yeah, someone might be throwing all the nades, but then all of a sudden the rest of your team is ready to pounce as soon as the other team gets a little too comfortable.
All right, now long control is going to be taken pretty comfortably over from Paquetá. Destiny is the one leading the charge for that. They do want to make sure that they're just jump spotting above the car. If there's a head there, it'll be spotted out before they go for the quick peeks. Now, Bravos do have 2 players pushed up into short as well. It's Woody to take first point of contest, but as he doesn't land the shot, just smokes it off and backs off. It's something we've seen Mirror do a couple of times. And Spirit was that one game where I think that 16-0 to Stralis comes to mind, where he just had an insane round from this particular spot.
I feel like leaning off of 16-0s isn't always the
true
best representation of the normal gameplay, but either way, after that smoke is deployed, they wait it out. They make sure that they're not getting flanked here on the side of Paquetá, and Woody will peek once again, but taking a lot of damage.
And this is where they've got to be careful. Reinforcements are coming through soon. Woody, however, can't land any shots through the smoke, and they've already crossed over on the bomb site. Danoco rather, good for one. He's still fighting away, trying to prevent them from getting onto the bomb site, and he's been successful in it so far. Smokes are going to be dissipating pretty soon, and that's where the elevator player can really kick in. Leo's been tagged, but he still gets a shot regardless. Bombs down, but it's a 5-on-3. Kit is ready. Joda moves upwards, up the ramp. Straight they go. A quick cleanup. And 5 players kept alive. Paquetá have got the bomb plant, but Bravos have the round.
God, that's a super awkward pistol there for Paquetá. They get themselves into the site using the cross smokes, and then they get stopped at the ramp effectively. Just Bravos constantly jiggle peeking, tapping away at the angles, and Paquetá don't find the damage enough so that they're actually able to drop players. Everybody on the side of Bravos was tagged up, but by the time that bomb got planted, you could see Bravos were just kind of swarmed all the way up elbow and were constantly applying that pressure that Paquetá couldn't alleviate. So yeah, the bomb plant is nice, but without the kills to back up the site take, it does get very hairy.
And of course, Danoco is the one playing, not Kaig. So just a small little glitch on Iron. No worries about that.
Yeah, I think Kaig was an ex-player, benched, of course. Yeah. So seeing the addition of Danoco have a lot of impact on the Bravos side. So good to see that he is in the server.
Indeed. And with that, my prediction also changes, Michael. I'm back to Bravos.
See, you
hey, man. No.
You did add the contingent.
I did add that, okay?
Little asterisks.
Hey, maybe we're both going to be wrong. We're going to have to wait to see. Bravos right now playing a very passive setup.
I'm never wrong.
Well, Woody might be wrong pretty soon, Michael. He's peeking into Destiny, but Leo's there to cover him. Quick shot from him will secure the kill, but so much damage dealt is going to be risky business for the CTs.
Yeah, they can see they fall back immediately after that, but now the speed up over towards this B bomb site seems to be on the cards here for Paquetá, but met by a smoke as soon as they get to those upper tunnels, so now they reconsider their options once more. It's a little bit back and forth. Running up from lower, now walking their way away from the action. And this might be enough to catch Bravos off, a bit of mounting pressure over towards B. Now it's a long-sided take, but they got to go quick. 30 seconds here for Paquetá to get themselves in the site.
Yeah, and Leo's in such a difficult angle to be able to clear them out. UMP, close range, doing so well, but Leo sticks his welcome a little bit too long. Woody comes in with a USB regardless, can get the frag, and David on the lurk is left very lonely. Paquetá this time, no chance for them to even get the bomb plant down. Time has run down far too low. David can only look for some damage and to save this Galil.
Yeah, that was best case scenario there for Bravos. They were doubled up at long, and as soon as Paquetá start running that direction, as much as they want to swing out on that one and done position just outside of the pit, then the player from the pit springs into action as well. So shooting them in the side of the head. Nice and easy there from Bravos all in all. And even if Paquetá had found those 2 entries, they needed to be really quick about it, because by the time they would have made it towards that long cross, Bravos would have had a sight line. So I almost want to say thinking about things a little too hard here on the Paquetá side. Played a very, very slow late round.
And that is something that we've seen some of these South American teams, run into as a problem. And Danoco finds himself the first one with the MP9. Some good money found with it. And they immediately push out from the B tunnels. Nitone's going upwards. We'll discover them, but that's another MP9 frag to come in. And they're just falling apart. Not a single frag found. And Bravos, I mean, across 3 rounds, they've had 2 deaths, so money's going to be looking very good.
Yeah, nice and healthy. They had a hero Galil, of course, by virtue of the save, and it got nothing. So really solid stuff all in all so far from this Bravo CT side. And that's something that, I mean, we noted as well when looking at this sort of regional competition. The CT sides are usually where most of the teams get their damage in. I mean, constantly looking for information. We saw in our round where they weren't expecting a buy as well. They just pushed freely. So expect more of the same. Now, especially with these MP9s still being in play, Bravos will want to play up close. Doubled up on short, nades in, and not doing too much damage, but Denoco trying to take the head of the action. Instead, his head is gone.
Got naded done a bit more. Denoco, maybe, you know. Always got that in the back of your head. Woody, though, close range with the MP9, will need to swing out before the AWP can just pluck him out of this angle. They've got some flashes as well, should they wish to clear out. But is this a run boost they're going for? Just a spot? I'd love a run boost into short. That would be kind of cool. But Woody, right now, dodges out the flashbang, peeking forward, sees the shadow, can back off, and sees 2 players over in A short as well. Rotation's going to be called soon, but David catches off Woody with a knife in his hand. All comes down to Joda, whether or not he can make his way over in time. Leo's too far away, and it seems like they might just choose to save.
Yeah, bleeding out on those players, and then just having a complete misread on where Paquetá were going. Just as soon as they vacated that B bomb site, started to hear utility being deployed that direction, and then you could see the panic that was set in for Woody because they had vacated that B bomb site. Just gets caught in transition as a result of... It's not timing, really, in the sense that most people would think, gosh darn, timing. I've looked the wrong way. But a really solid timing exploited there from Paquetá just to catch that player out.
Not quite timing, more just some solid rotational forcing.
Yeah, and reading where Bravos are positioned as well.
Again, a good, solid, clean start to things. Joda flashes overhead, Molotov under him, and now he's got a peek out from the fire straight into the AWP. Now, not really needing to take contest so far, and Leo just gets some pepper spray forward. IDK doesn't want to commit too hard. Paquetá find their first. Bravos do keep their weapons alive so they can reinvest into this safely with a bit of money still left behind, so they're not going to be completely poor.
You just call an M4 a pepper spray?
I mean, yeah, when it's through the door.
Like, stay away from my purse.
It must be a big old purse.
Of course, that purse on the CT side is really what he was trying to protect by saving those weapons, so I guess we can get him in the eyes. Why not? Of course, it's the AWP now gracing the server. We talk a lot about the Paquetá side AWPs, so Nithon, of course, will have his own. But Woody, we didn't really talk too much about, and he can be explosive. He does like to take these aggressive lines and, again, try and leverage that into multi-kills, which is really that strong point I was talking about earlier about Bravos, is that these players do kind of want to go for some of these independent plays.
I feel like Woody might be, within the South American region, which we've casted, Woody might be the most traditional aggressive AWP that we've seen, you know. We'll take these off angles like you can see on the screen over here, but might not necessarily always go super aggressively deep in with repeats. It can make him look a bit less explosive at times in comparison because of the style of peaks, but when you actually put him in a head-to-head, I mean, he goes nuts.
Well, they're putting a lot of time off the clock here on the side of Paquetá, and smokes will be thrown over towards that mid-B.
The read from Bravos is fantastic, though, but this could be a fake going up to short. Yeah. Woody's the only one here to defend, and he's only got a flashbang. 25 seconds left on the clock. Woody's going to see the first player. Doesn't quite pull the trigger in time, and now he has to take care of 2 different angles, and he just can't get it done. Nithon, good for 1. Leo coming over, needs to occupy pit before they're able to get onto the bomb site. Otherwise, the AWP might be able to pluck him out of mid-air. And he's able to do just that. Bomb goes down. It's planted for short. That's where Denoco's headed.
I don't know if they're really going to want to go for this. Destiny's advanced position in CT spawn, they can't go through. So short is the only reversible terrain. Nade won't do all too much. IDK playing around the other side of it, and they're trying to get through this smoke, but it's just so disruptive. It's bleeding so much time.
IDK, sloppy spray, but still good for the frag and the smoke. Again, just buying him the time he needs. Nithon on the bomb site shouldn't be able to be crossed by unless he misses the shot initially, and they're not even attempting to go for it. They've got the kits, but they'd rather save the rifles moving forward. And again, it looked like for a minute there when you see the double smoke going out towards mid B, Bravos just feel internally, yeah, boys, we've got them. They made the call. They've got 2 players playing from outside of B doors, and internally they're thinking, okay, yeah, we've got this round. But no, again, Paquetá outmaneuvered them, head over towards short, and they just make it work for themselves.
Yeah, and Leo gets like nothing from his position over towards long. They don't really have information of what's coming, and without Woody coming up with a couple of kills and on that A site, it just feels too hard to push by. And that short contest, the fact that they bled out about half of the bomb timer, really solid stuff there for Paquetá to hold on to those numbers for as long as they did.
Oh, careful now, Destiny! That could have been big, yeah. Massive.
I mean, just catching a small glimpse of the bald head. And if he had any hairs remaining on that head, they have been shaved off.
I mean, I can tell why he's bald, put it that way. If he has to experience that every day at work, whew, yeah, there's no hair growth there.
Yeah, midlife crisis.
It's like the stress was bad enough, and then now I'm being shot at my hair. Woody. Smoke going out. This time they're being extra careful to get some information down mid. The flashbang, though, he sees it, and that means he's blind. It tends to be how flashbangs work. Smoke's been missed, but he's able to cross over back regardless. Short still occupied, but there's actually enough time for them to move back to B if they'd like to. But they're going for the quick pull of the trigger. Woody, however, again, more flashes, and they're not going in just yet, Michael.
Yeah, really slowing things down. I'm sure about where this AWP is going to be positioned. Not exactly got flashes to prevent Woody these sight lines, and so if they want to cross the site, they have to deal past Danoco, and then that AWP springs in. Woody landing the tag, but not the follow-up, and they're going to be able to get this bomb planted here on the side of Paquetá. They're now playing for the retake for Bravos.
And getting this retake is going to be so incredibly difficult with Woody's missed opportunities. It all comes down to Joda as he's walking up A ramp, crouching away, waiting for utilities to come in and help. He's got the first, but trades are far too good. We just can't get anything done. Turtle's going to come up big with 2. He's not been given many opportunities so far in the game, but this won't be one of them. Woody, another missed shot. Chance is gone. IDK just peeks out from the side of the smoke, and Paquetá find their third off the back of it. Woody missing out on these shots is crucial, though, Michael. Paquetá had a nice little secondary execute with a double Molotov for air ramp, but Woody wasn't even there. He's given free reign. Flashbangs were already used, and he still can't land the shots.
Yeah, going from hitting a really fast flick down and getting a tag at the start of the round to actually having a couple of sitters that just don't really connect in the same way. And you know, you can talk a lot about confidence coming into games, and while you might have had those opportunities, I mean, he doesn't know that he hit that flick, right? I mean, the communication for that is a really hard sound cue, if anything. And so he might have just been like, oh, I thought it was on, it was off, and things kind of cascade from there. I don't want to get too much into the mentality of things because it's still early days here for Bravos, but considering they got off to that good start, they kept so many players alive and healthy for the rounds that they were winning as well. They had that money that they could sit back on. Now that's all broken apart. So you see it's a easy 4th round on the board here for Paquetá. They clear out B and there's no one home. In fact, they fancy a little bit of a hunt, even though there's really not too much to lose here for Bravos.
Hey, Michael. Be it P-Files or Wild Board, when the hunt is on, you know the hunt is on. But just to build on your point, Michael, the interesting thing is the fact that every single round that Paquetá have gotten seems to be one of those, you know, matchup meta game exploiting rounds. Where they're like, yeah, well, we know that last time when we played, you did this and then this and this. Well, we're going to do that and then have this double exec lined up and ready. So you're going to think we're faking you, but we're actually still going to, you know, this deep mind game that comes in, which only exists if teams on a regional level are playing as often as they are. So, you know, you can already see the complexities that we're really getting into. Oh, Python. So would he be very quick? This time Nighton's given his opportunity, but can't quite land it. He's been very good on the AWP deal so far. Maybe not necessarily as much. Ooh. That's
second missed molly of the round. Yeah. One was thrown by Bravos at the start, and now Paquetá are fumbling their own nades. So, well, they'll be pretty happy that Bravos haven't swung on that opportunity. Of course, they gave up that long control and they set their sights on short instead. I wonder how much further they investigate. Of course, they don't have that AWP in Woody's hands. Will be the AUG, so a scope is still present, but not quite the same efficacy. And I would have thought they would have been happy to just sit within long and kind of play from that position instead, but Woody's actually bridging the gap in towards that site as that first correspondent, that first defender that Paquetá will have to beat past. Smoke on the bomb site once again, and so last time round, Paquetá slowed things down to a halt. This time, they slowly walk towards what is Woody round the smoke.
I mean, Woody's not had the best of time so far with the AWP, but incendiary in his hand, needs a gun up, but not in time. David's got the shot. Jodan and Leo respond, sure, but they're still stuck inside CT spawn. Danoko's the only one who can get out an easy contest initially, and he's delaying the bomb plant as long as he can with a quick incendiary over towards the site. Danoko peeking out again. The AWP isn't keeping an eye out, but with an incendiary there on short, it doesn't need to. They're setting up for a retake. They've got a single smoke for it, but that smoke's not going to go the right way. Nighton is in goose, not in elbow. That smoke doesn't do anything for it. And as they're jumping over, the flash timing means Danoko's got the first. The retake is on, but K-Tex is still here. He's got an opportunity. He's peeking back out into them. The smoke's working out, but K-Tex doing even better. He's got 3!
Man, what a sick round there from K-Tex when they're double swinging into him, constantly trying to take those fights. And he just keeps on tapping away, knows they have to transition to get onto that defuse, only for K-Tex to tap them out. They just couldn't trade. And K-Tex constantly winning out the gunfights. That is so sick. And I was talking about how the individual ability of Bravos, I thought in the head-to-head they'd come out on top, but these last few rounds, Paquetá have really picked up the slack. And now they get a big moment out of K-Tex as well. I was going to say, even before we got into that round and the post plant, I thought Bravos were kind of already chalked up out of that, only for them to kind of swing it back into their favor. And given the way in which they're losing these bomb sites, the discomfort that feels visible on Woody, I would have expected the timeout regardless of how that round played out, whether Paquetá won it or lost it. Because it feels like Bravos just aren't in the same element right now. Paquetá have really dialed themselves in after losing those first 3.
Man, that second shot from K-Tex was insane. Just a quick AD tap. That's the kind of thing you're trying DM, and you're just thinking, yeah, well, I'm never gonna get to do this in a game anyway.
Yeah.
Early damage. Oh yeah. He probably did a double take on that one afterwards, but even so, Nighton. Maybe a quick shot to be found. Turtle, why not? Won't be the most impactful of kills as he's likely to be hunted down. Destiny a quick one tap as well, but it's not the same as Deagle peeking into an AWP. Let's be honest, guys. That's just something nice and special. Shoot. Oh
my god.
Shoot.
If he
Do
shot.
Do it, Turtle.
It would be so ridiculous.
Turtle. They're lining up. Flashbang comes over. He knows where the first is coming through. They're not peeking, but the missed shot means that Turtle just... Man, I wish he just pulled the trigger.
I do miss lands and just that particular line you're going with the chance. I almost feel like that's, sometimes the land can affect things. You just hear the rumbling through the booths. It's like, oh, maybe I should just, fire off a shot.
The famous Jordan Nothing Gilbert clips as well come to mind for those ones every time I see them. Quick long takeout from Nighton. He's very alone for an AWP player. Not really the normal positioning for one, but turns out normalcy is very overrated, Michael. Goes out, gets the first Molotov as well. Needs to be careful though. That flashbang means a push could come through from Joda. Not even needed. Good for one, looks for two, but the adjustment of his position made his spray a little bit off. And he can't quite get it done. Meanwhile, a few more entries means that Bravos are once again boxed out of the round. And Turtle, he's got something to say about it.
Yeah, finding that kill might actually incentivize them to go for this one. Woody has to be careful though. Venturing too much further forward. The smoke did come from short, so he knows that that player is still lingering about. Yeah, fancied a chance shot through the smoke, and it does not connect. The kit can be picked up in transition here for Woody. Maybe not communicated, but yeah, okay. We won't talk about it.
Of course.
Legs a little lanky. Doesn't quite have the groundwork or the facilities to make that jump, and Destiny's on the flank. So just as they are beginning to set up, they're getting shot in the side, and with Destiny plucking out one, now Woody's chances of saving this AWP have gone to next to nothing, especially with Destiny constantly repositioning and making sure that he cannot venture out. This turnaround here for Paquetá is looking good, man. They're finding these entries so consistently. And it almost feels like Bravos are just that step behind as a result of that. Like, they're not able to pull themselves into a contingency plan fast enough because Paquetá are springing in as soon as they find those kills.
I mean, the fact that Nightlawn's able to push through towards Rubens with an AWP and find the kill, that is kind of crazy. You know? But regardless, Woody's dead. Not something that I have... really been refraining from saying in these past few rounds. He's not had a fantastic showing on this A-bomb site, really dropping the ball a couple of times over, and it does feel like, you know, there's always going to be blame on more than one players, but Woody's definitely going to need to step up in these next few rounds if they want to make this a respectable half. David finds Shoda, and Dinoco might just want to save the AK if he can.
Yeah, I'd imagine that's one of the primary objectives. And especially if the peak you've gone for is received like that. The key players that do need to really come to the table. I mean, Woody, we've talked to about a bunch. Joda, another. And it's not as though like players are slacking here from Bravos. I think everyone is equally getting decimated in these past few rounds.
Yeah, it's just that Woody's been getting the most amount of interactions, so he looks the worst because you get to see him the most, you know? Whereas, you know, someone like Turtle, who's generally having to rotate over, Joda as well, might not always be at an action point. Yeah, you're right. You know, they just don't look like that. But Paquetá are very much just knocking down the doors with a flamethrower right now.
Yeah, I wonder what the adaptation is going to be here from Bravos. Feels like they're not fighting on their own terms effectively when it comes to these hits. They've had a couple misreads as to where Paquetá are going. We talked about that head-to-head mind game. And so you'd almost expect that a bit of initiative is taken to get those opening picks. And, I mean, that is part of the reason as to why they have been losing some of these rounds as well, is that they are losing in these opening fights so consistently. But that shouldn't be a deterrent. Not enough so that they kind of turtle up into these sites, because playing scared is almost as bad.
I like this play from Leo in the meanwhile, as he is sitting inside A-long house doors. One thing that Paquetá have been very good about is establishing that short control. So if Leo's feeling comfortable to push through, this would be a big move for him to make. Unfortunately for him, he's been here many times before as well and doesn't really always choose to actually make a move. And now with, you know, short control having been depicted, great kill for Dinoco to find in the meanwhile. Down mid, he plucks out K-Tex, who was a little bit late. And the walk-up cat. Okay. Thought I was going to get that for a second.
Expectations set high here for Paquetá, and this double AWP has already been received quite well, but now things break down. Over at B, there's 2 entries, so brought back into a 3-on-3, cycling weapons just in time. Leo's able to pull the AK out, and so now they'll have this man advantage coming into the retake, getting their tunnels control set up, but you can see Paquetá aren't waiting around.
This flashbang is going to be key. David needs to get a quick peek and a kill off the back of it. He sees there's no one over in mid, at least not in deep mid, but IDK's made the call. One man coming over, two from tunnel. IDK takes the peek, but can't get the frag. It's all down to David, and he's facing off with 3.
Oh,
Gets
no.
the first 2, and off on the other side. Needs a quick tap, but the USP is enough. Woody brings it all together, and Bravos will find their first round after Paqueta's 8-round win streak.
Oh my god, but that is a really close affair again here for Bravos. I thought we were going to get a repeat. We know another 1v3 in for Paqueta. This time it would have been channeled through David, and that would have been ridiculous if that had come through. Another position where Bravos just have so many answers, and they see that light at the end of the tunnel. This time they actually get there. Falling into the pitfall once more, and we'll see if this is enough to right the ship. They worked off of that double warp last time, and this is a fast play in from Nithon. Turtle just out in the open, wasn't expecting Nithon to be there so quick, and Denoco trying to take the initiative, now smoking towards the tunnels. I don't think they can chase him down.
Oh my goodness, he's got himself a second one. Oh, come on, mate, you don't need yourself over there unless you're thinking maybe there's someone already up mid. But Destiny's not made that decision yet. It's still a 2v3 despite Denoco's heroics. A lot of this will come down to Joda and when he chooses to rotate. Denoco can't do it all on his own. No more utility, but he might still have the timing. Destiny turns around right on time, though.
Yeah, that was going to be a trade as well. Quickly available there for Paqueta, unless Denoco was able to do so much more than what would have been asked of him. But Paqueta have found themselves into a 9th. That's, I mean, again, this round started out fairly well. So much pressure over towards B. Denoco kind of trading things out as efficiently as you could hope for after losing that first player as quickly to the AWP. But then, you know, a push over towards long on the side of, I think, Leo, who's been there a fair few times over. He gets punished for his actions. And so after they come out of that affair, suddenly Paqueta are still in this sort of equal man position where Bravos could have very easily had a man advantage.
Oh my goodness, Nithon is so on point tonight, Michael. He is just really here to play. Had some criticism of him in the past, but today's not one of those days. An instant headshot will send Destiny reeling, but not reeling to the grave. Joda, meanwhile, hoping to take advantage of the open short area, but it's not quite as open as they think. K-Tex is coming in from behind. He's got one before being traded. This could get deadly. Couple of weapons retrieved. Maybe Turtle can make his way over in time. Denoco gets a shot or two, but no, they're being thorough with this utility. Smoke's been deployed on top of that Molotov, and Denoco being tagged won't be helping out at all. Turtle needs to start moving forward, and Denoco not getting that kill might just be cause for them to back off and save that AK, but Turtle's got something else in his mind, and that is his death. He had enough money to buy in the next round regardless, so don't blame him too much for going for it.
Yeah, still not exactly a healthy prospect going up against 4, but what else can you do? I guess we're gonna have to savor these moments. You know, when we get tags through the mid doors.
Yeah.
You know, autos are out.
True.
That's all gonna be gone soon enough.
I mean, can't you still auto if you jump down to suicide? You just can't see it, but you can still auto through the door, right?
Yeah, and, well, if there's a kill right away.
Why not?
So, love or hate it, that's gonna be gone in the way that we know it, at the very least. Very soon, or soon enough. For now, it will stand.
I wonder if it's going to be like one of those things that we look back and going to hold the point, because Joda right now has been taken out by Nightclot. He's untouchable. And Wood 7 sure as hell, Woody rather, sure as hell isn't going to be able to do anything about it. Destiny's got off a man in mid, almost makes it 2. Woody with a quick response, can't double off though. And with that, Paqueta get to 11. They have dominated the first half. We've got to go to a bit of a break, and when we're back, we'll see what they can do in the second. Paquetá have dominated the first half against any expectations set by Bravos in the first 3 rounds at the very least. And now we wait to see what they can get done in the second. I'm Mamun Sabri, tea time. I was about to say Michael Yumi Cassidy, but actually Michael Yumi Cassidy is the second guy on the microphone with me. Sorry, Michael, I was about to steal your identity.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to really call the cops on you. Maybe get the pepper spray out.
Please, no, not the massive M4A4 pepper spray.
Guys trying to steal my ID.
Well,
Either way, that was a really surprising way to end up in that first half, considering, like you said, the start that Bravos got off to, you know, really clean rounds, a clean round afterwards, and then all of a sudden Paquetá start really hammering them, and then they're just not able to get things back together. So now into Bravos pistol here on the T side. This is going to be a must, or an actual requirement for them to come back into this game. It feels like, lest Paquetá get too far away. And smoke on the Xbox for some short control. Paquetá are there.
Hawthorne splashed up and he's moving back at Destiny. Has to cover, and while blind, he's able to do so. They're re-peeking and getting the frags. Paquetá will continue this domination, the streak they've got going. IDK's been given time to rotate over, and Woody, the last demise. Paquetá keeps 2 players with Kevlar as well, so you got that sweet $350 upgrade.
Yeah, IDK gets the invitation that it's going to be a short play, and while he shows up a little fashionably late, he's the life of the party at the end of the day. Oh man, they were just in the perfect position for our Bravos had to bring to the table, and that Xbox smoke, try to rush up short. Okay, there's 2. Okay, we got the 2. There's a 3rd.
It definitely also helps when you... Oh, never mind. I'm going to hold the point because suddenly a 4-on-3. Admittedly, those weapons are recoverable with IDK covering them, but IDK's not doing too much of a good job of it. David instead has to step up, and he makes it clean. The spray down from the AUG, not something you see every day, but hey, I wouldn't mind it if we did. But Michael, just to quickly add on to your point about the pistol round, it also helps when you've got 2 players who are killing people through flashes.
Yeah, I mean, it does help. Caught a glimpse just before the flash bloomed, I think. So, you know, it's all just muscle memory from there. A little astral projection.
Ha, hoo, ha.
What is this, Johnny Bravo?
I mean, kinda. Maybe, who knows? Right now, though, Leo Monster and company are heading up short. They're hoping to be able to replicate the success that Paquetá had on their T side, but peeking out shy might not be the best ways of getting there. Nightcon smokes himself off, wants that one way to work for it, and now Flashbang overhead as well keeps them from pushing him down, and Destiny's been given chances to keep control over Long in the meanwhile. They just want to set up for this retake, but they won't have Nightcon for it. Turtle as well, given the opportunity to find a quick one down mid, makes it 2 with a clean second shot. Paquetá are going to have to back off.
Yeah, that's crispy stuff there from Turtle on the lurk. Getting the 1 kill was already going to be more than enough, but 2 is, again, subverting expectations. Destiny cannot escape with his weapon either, and Bravos get a clean T-side round. There was a little bit of fumbling of utility there over towards the A ramp. Could see the panic instilled in his eyes just as he saw the hit coming towards that A bomb site. You know, pulling out a Molotov at first and just like, oh, what? No, I need to put that one away. If I throw that on top of myself, I'll end up on the wrong type of highlight reel.
Indeed. Sam and G may have left Counter-Strike, but doesn't mean that the 1G is not still here.
Not a real 1G if it's not a 1v1. God. Do you know nothing?
Okay, Michael. Okay. Of course, Paquetá, money's gone as well. Destiny, a great shot to find a recoverable rifle off the back of it, and they'll start to move back towards the A-bomb site where there's already 2 players lying in wait. A lot of damage dealt through the smoke. IDK gets another one, and it looks like Dinoko's not doing too hot either. They've started to peek through. Dinoko and Turtle finding one apiece. Turtle to the smoke has got the recovery, even the spray down on the second. Don't know how he gets that one. But at least K-Tech's lonely, and in his loneliness, will find another frag before he finally goes down. But this round not too different from what we saw with Bravos' own eco, where they're able to reset the Paquetá economy. But Paquetá, they don't have any money to rebuy into this one.
Yeah, it's a really dangerous round, though, at the very least. Paquetá just constantly pressuring them, and if not for the fact that Turtle's able to get 3 really sharp kills, could have very easily fallen out of their hands. And David's chilling behind the smoke while his teammates are boosted, only for Turtle just whip him with the spray transfer. Come on, man. He didn't even do anything wrong. He's letting you guys get the plant. Not too many threats here for Paquetá. Here on the defensive, P250, a lot of USPs, and not a whole lot else. While Joda's taking a lot of damage. Seems as though that will be all that's gotten here on the side of Paquetá. Play things out slow, making sure to check every possibility, and even clearing's T-spawn.
Turtle's gonna hit the spray practices. He's very, very sharp with the first bullet, though. I'm gonna have to say that. That being said, looking over to the numbers side of things, Michael, something we haven't talked too much about so far. Man, David is killing it. I just noticed he's on 17. Turtle, obviously, on the other side, the next up in line to domination. Not too far behind on 15. Bravos could start to make their way back into things, though, Michael. As Paquetá, once again, don't have enough money for one op, let alone the 2 that they'd like to go for.
Could be a path to recovery if Bravos can continue this chain. Of course, while Paquetá don't have those ops afoot, would be the best opportunity to bridge the gap and close in on that scoreline. You can see as soon as they received some pressure over at long, they weren't in great positions to really fight it. So natural response here from the CT side. Want to hold on to short or long control. Just gives you better avenues into that A site should it end up in a retake. We're even investigating a little further as well. Destiny, no utility. So gonna try and push in from behind, find a timing. Bravos should be privy to this fact, though. They've not exactly given themselves a lot of outs from this position. And Shadow giving up. Dinoco's already primed on the angle. Easy first kill, only for K-Tech to almost fall into the exact same thing. The Shadow at the doors gives him that additional heads up to know what's coming. And while they wanted that flank to work out here for Paquetá, Bravos just stand their ground.
God, I love how Dinoco played that as well. Getting aggressive into long house and out through the back of it afterwards is just fantastic. He opens up positions for them to rotate into short with if they want to do so, and then just gives the IGL so much more space to make the call. That's beautiful. Dinoco really showing his stuff. A few quick kills from the CT side are going to help, though, Michael. Nighthorn still keeps it going. The AUG is really netting them everything they need, but they're not expecting Woody to come in from short. It's back to a 1v1, and David's been given the space to go for the reload. Oh, Woody.
No! He took the wide swing, thought that Woody might have gotten caught in a sleep as he was trying to transition back into the site. Time was of the essence. It was about 20 seconds by the time he got his hands on that bomb. And David tried to wait for the perfect moment, only for Woody to win out the duel. Considering that starts out in a 5-on-3, again, that is far too close for comfort there if you're Bravos. Paquetá doing a lot of work with those ults, and what on earth?
Okay, we get to see both sides of the equation, Michael. The auto sniper and the scout down mid from the CTs.
That's the one side of the fight that I'm actually going to miss.
Yeah.
In all fairness.
Absolutely. Seen some great highlight moments from there, but right now, Dinoco, caught out the deagle to the head. Destiny bobs him like a pimple.
Surely they don't lose a round like this. Leo's trying to recover things, tapping away. Too many players to fight. This scout has just swung out so wide.
And Destiny's got a chance here. No, looking at him. Destiny misses all of those bullets. What in the world's going on here? Seems like a few too many mistakes made. Turtle as well, almost caught out mid-air. But David and K-Dex aren't able to take him down, and the grenade is juicy.
Man, I can't help but feel that with how close all of these rounds have been, whether it's been a half buy, a full buy, hasn't really mattered here from Paquetá. It feels like at some point it's going to reach this breaking point where you're bending constantly to the will of your opponent. Not quite snapping, but you bend a piece of metal enough times, it starts to get brittle. Now these AWPs are out as well. Maybe this will be the breaking point. The final time where Bravos snap.
Oh, David's got to be careful now. Has to come up big. The AUG's good for one. More flashes coming through. They haven't noticed Destiny, and they'll notice him too late. He gets a frag, and David's still alive. Good grenade forward will force him through. Turtle doesn't want to move too much, and now that he started to swing out wide, has to be careful. There's an AWP behind him. Nighthawk playing for the peak, and he's getting more and more aggressive. A smoke's going to mask them off, though. Turtle can take down David, and now Nighthawk and KTX are left alone. They're expecting him around the corner of the smoke, and as he waits, it's Woody to find him. Over from short.
Yeah, slowly working up, just knowing that attentions would be divided, and now KTX with his AWP over on that B site have to do nothing more than save. So detached from the action. That was a great response there from Bravos. They recognize that there's that third man in towards the pit, and the worry was that suddenly you'd have the AWP start swinging in, or somebody rotating in to help that pit player. But redeploying that corner smoke just meant that Nighthawk could get nothing from his spot. Ultimately ended up him getting shot in the back as a result of that. So maybe my medal analogy doesn't quite transfer over. This is one of the better looking rounds now from Bravos as Paquetá answer with that double ult.
The fact that Destinies and David are both only able to find one apiece is really what makes that round so difficult. In the spots you have over there, you might be thinking, yeah, they killed one person, they've done their job. No. You know, a player inside pit with Destiny on an off angle to support him, to make sure that he's there for trade, he's there for supportive fire. That's very difficult to win the round unless you get at least two on one of those players. Especially
when there's so many janky fights as well, where you could nobody really felt like they had an easy duel. That's had to have been a part of the plan there for Paquetá, only for them to kind of get detached via some of the utility that Bravos threw. So that's definitely not enough.
KTX, solid position for him to be in. Question is he going to be able to go for the repeat? Doesn't look like he's got any desire to do so. They've sent out so many different flashes overhead. Nighthawk. Oh, careful, Nighthawk. Incendiary shots through the wall, and he's out of there. Nothing to do here.
Almost some timing there for Paquetá on these Deegs. Of course, if they could, they'd love to save this this AWP over. These Deegs can find too much. IDK's spam is not too far off the mark, but doesn't connect.
And he won't know that. KTX though peeking out again and again. It's a Molotov. The Mostem. KTX only good for one though. Jumping up without getting the movement in first meant that he didn't have the speed needed to be able to get off the A short ledge. And they are able to peek out into him and take him down because of that small micro decision. Joda though finds David trying to be sneaky with the ult.
Yeah, tried to get away with it because KTX's ult did drop spawn, so David was on a recovery mission, only for him to be hunted, and IDK peeking into the AWP of Wood 7. Bravos, this comeback has fully been engaged. Now that they're on this T side, got a little worried. I'm going to pretend that wasn't the case, that Paquetá would just simply run away with it. But now Bravos are finding that success on that T side where, you know, coming into this game, I think we had this expectation that the CT sides would be the most robust out of these two squads. We've seen a lot of fumblings, you know, missed out opportunities for trade kills, not finding the same chances as well to go for double swings, which felt like big strengths for both of these squads. And now when they're on these T sides, it just feels like, because of the lack of efficient trading from CTs, they can just dominate.
And so far, one thing that Bravos have been very good at denying as well from Paquetá is this idea of getting any damage in from short after the pistol round. It seems like they haven't really had too many rounds where they've been successful at getting in any sort of opener and any sort of advantage. You know, pushing B tunnels has been out of the question for them on their own personal reasons. But short's also not netted them anything, it seems like.
Missed timing on the Molotov over at the car, so KTX is nice and free. Another molly thrown, though. They'll make amends.
I mean, has to be careful now. That's a secondary smoke being chucked out from his own teammates, and he wants to start peeking into them before the flashes come through. There isn't another Molotov. KTX has been given a chance now to hold this angle. And as he moves back, retreats into the smoke, repositioning around it. It's Turtle with a nasty headshot. There's that first bullet accuracy I talked about. Michael, careful now, Woody. Can't afford to be going down over here. They're peeking into you. Nighthorn a bit too late.
Not too many eyes on the crosshair on the side of Paquetá, so they can start to make their way in towards this A site. Leo trying to take charge, find the entry, and it's sharp onto Destiny. Caught in transition, out in the open, and they couldn't provide support. Short was mollied off, so now 5-on-3. Paquetá have to run and save. No safe avenues to come back in for the retake. May not even be able to save these guns. The Bravos money's looking hot.
David found out and brought down to Noko, the one to do it. Bravos' money is looking hot, sure, Michael, but Paquetá, their money, their bodies, their rounds, you might as well prep up the frozen morgue for them. Not had a single gun round, obviously, in this half. It was 2 found on the back of pistols, and after that, it's very much been the T-side game. Stark contrast to what we were talking about before, Michael, where in the past, a lot of the times we've seen these teams be very dominant on their CT sides. Very different from previous iterations.
And it's weird because both CT sides have won their pistol rounds respectively. Only for everything else to go about as wrong as it could. It's not as though Paquetá haven't gotten close on a few of these rounds. You know, they in the early stages of this half, they were straining that Bravos money, but now things are really looking up. They're getting into maxed territory on the side of Bravos. One more clean win would do it.
Well, no clean wins to be found.
Middle. Yeah, it's the scout once again that finds this opening. There's a tag on David, so it's not as though he gets away unscathed, but they'll happily take that.
Yeah, but Joda's over in mid, and the smoke won't do anything about that at all. They're not going to be expecting him having backed off. David's gone. Joda goes for the second, and although he's tagged up, it's IDK who has to finish him off. And that means that the B-bomb site should have been open for business, but Nighthorn's able to find one. Unfortunately for him, it turns into the tunnels instead of trying to commit to the B mid area, where Bravos had already accelerated to find him out from mid through those B doors.
Oh, really scrappy duel from the smoke, and they don't have kits here on the side of Paquetá. Leo could hold his own 1-on-2, and time of the essence here for Paquetá as they look to group up.
Leo waiting out. The flashbang going to catch him completely. He's going to be spotted out, but because they went for a bit too much of a longer jump in, they can't quite get the kill. Leo, however, still traded out. Destiny won't have time to get the defuse regardless. It's as close as can be. He's trying to stick it. Paquetá, they need this. They're on their knees. They're begging. They're praying. And it's been answered. Paquetá win out the round.
I didn't think he had time. It felt like they waited around too long. That trade didn't come in quick enough, but it is quite a close one. And that's finally the round that Paquetá get together. They didn't have the strongest buy. You know, there were upgraded pistols, as in an M4 and a scout. And that's the buy they get together. Comes about as close as it can get.
So technically, they still haven't won any gun rounds, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I suppose on a technicality, yeah. And I'd wondered as well when they got into that 2-on-2, they could have run to pick up the AWP, but of course not the best weapon for retake situations. Those extra seconds to get that gun as well would have been too much blood from the clock. So ultimately, a solid read there from Paquetá.
Really good flashbang as well to the back of the bomb site instead of trying to, you know, maybe make it a bit more central. So when Leo turns around there, because he's playing anti-flash, he's got the right idea in his mind, but he turns around and ends up facing directly into the flashbang. That's why you see that 4-second blind on him. So despite, you know, the longer pathing, they're able to catch him out.
And getting past those entrances is the hardest part of the B retake.
Yeah. Once you're out of the bomb site, it's anyone's game.
Well, it doesn't exactly give you the vote of confidence that those are repeatable rounds. Bravo's looking very spread out. Joda's been doing this creeping lurk in towards middle a number of times over. Flash over towards B. David's got this long line of approach with the AUG, and Woody's AWP unable to trade, taking too much damage, and considering he has the bomb, has to play it safe.
And is this where you start to see Bravos falter right before they can equalize? How many times have we seen this from teams? Joda, however, over in mid, he's been spotted, he's been dinged. They needed a USP, that's all they wanted, but Joda still cleans up that B bomb site completely, opens it up, and Leo. Another frag found and another round secured. Destiny, last one to fall, but Bravos aren't quite mentally locked out yet.
Yeah, that looked pretty solid right off the jump there for Paquetá. David taking his long-range duel with the AUG and being able to safely sit back in the bomb site. But the fact that mid was open for so long, it's not as though Paquetá weren't doing similar stuff on their T side. We constantly saw Destiny try and pluck out those rotations, but Joda's aggressive line just inserting himself outside of B, too devastating. Those 2 kills were so good.
If they get this frag out of Joda, it would be big, and they peek out Destiny. Finding one's going to be important, but without the flashbang to keep Dinoco blinded out, Dinoco's able to spot the fact that they've taken the AWP, but I'm not sure if it actually bleeds into his vision. I think he might need to come in a bit harder to see whether the AWP's been picked up or not. Destiny's the only one with the proper non-scope weapon. And K-Tex, as he looks for the shot in through the Molotov flames, he's not able to find it. The visibility not secured, and K-Tex now has to come up big. Finds himself the first. Woody to trade very quickly, but K-Tex, he's being a bit more cautious about this. Wants to wait for his teammate to move his way over. Nighton's good for one, but it's all Woody. They're so low, but he doesn't know it. Now the Deagle's been popped out. The call has been made. Needed to find the shots, but to the head was more difficult. Perhaps than even just trying to shoot in with it up.
Oh, 6 HP between them. 5 and 1. They are hair's lengths away from death. That is so ridiculous. And they've tied this up. They were 4 and 13 down. And now they're neck and neck. Paquetá have lost that momentum, and Dinoco has sprung in with the AWP kill over at long. Paquetá wanted that long control, but now being this man down, they're not going to just settle for that. Destiny, you can see he's taking those long doors, trying to insert himself into the action. With Bravos, they're looking to go.
And David, well, he needs to come up big, but only good for one. Where are the multi-kills when you need them? All being boosted up. Nighton knows that it's either now or you've got to save, and with the Molotov underneath his feet, there's nothing to do. 26 HP, players detected. Destiny to try and cover them to be able to save these weapons, to be able to have a secondary chance, but is he thinking of going in? That can't be the move. That can't be.
Yeah, they'll pick up that secondary AWP and then move away. Wood burns, my friend. And while it's reduced damage, Bravos have taken the lead. Coming into this half, would you have expected it? Trailing 4 and 11. Paquetá seemed unstoppable in that first half. Yeah. But now being met with that same level of repeating endurance here on the T side of things, this is a T-sided game. I don't think there's any question. Both CT sides have seemed so vulnerable to the lurks in particular. How many times, especially now in the second half as well, has it been Leo or Joda just inserting themselves into positions where Paquetá don't have eyes initially? You know, they're playing very passively in towards the bomb sites, and so they're giving a lot of control over to Bravos that they have fully capitalized on.
I just checked again, Michael, just to be 100% sure, but I'm going to hold the point because right now Joda has been forced back. This is Paquetá's map pick.
Yeah.
So if they're not able to win this out, it would continue the tradition that these two teams have of winning each other's map pick almost every single time. Of course, I don't want to get ahead of myself. The series still has a lot of action to give, but it is kind of funny when you think about it.
The head-to-head curse.
Yeah. Leo wants to be able to deliver that curse in, at least for this map. If you can stay away from it for your own map pick, why not?
Solid nade. Leo's brought low, so he might not be at the forefront of the action. And Bravos are playing a much more defensive game on this T-side round. Baiting out utility, just prompting a bit of a response here from Paquetá. Seeing if they can make them squirm, catch them on these rotates again. They're not moving, staying true to their positions. Nithon's going to be a key piece. That bomb on short, and Nithon has the angle.
Oh, Nithon's got himself one. They were trying to double swing that one out, so he isn't quite able to find a second opportunity to peek, but of course he does. Paquetá's not out of it yet. Now 2-man advantage up, but Turtle's the one to start to bring it back. 20 seconds, the clock is ticking away, and the bomb's been dropped down to CT spawn. Nithon gets another in the meanwhile, and it seems like he's doing it all on his own. Woody peeking upwards, aggressively out, and with 8 seconds, he knows he's gone. He knows he's done for. He knows there's nothing that he can do. Paquetá will find themselves overtime, and we're gonna have to go to a break to see how exactly they can start to bring it back.
I'm like, hola, 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 hola. With your move fancy, make me wanna hola.
And we're back into things. It's time to see whether or not Paquetá, who managed to really struggle their way to overtime, can actually do anything now that we have come to a Bravos, a dominant T-side performance. But hey, that's how overtime works, Michael. Both teams have the same exact T-side performance to get there.
Oh, it's kind of ridiculous that it's come to this. Paquetá seems so in control, but Bravo's answering back. And yeah, it's all reset. None of what happened in regulation matters now. You have the depth to now pull it out in the overtime. Big question. Bravos have pulled things together, so they'll start again on this T side. Already getting a lot of long control.
Joda's the one who's lurking over, and the interesting thing about his timing is he should be able to get here right when Destiny's circling around and starting to move forward. Joda should be able to have clear sight lines on him. He's turned around the timing! Joda's going to be cursing himself for that one. K-Tex, great timing on the incendiary, will have heard the damage ticks as well, and now come out the rotations. They're going to start to move over. They need the boost. Destiny smoking off the Molotov to make it so he's more of a risk, but he's now smoked out himself. Leo needs to find out these big kills. K-Tex with a quick one to start things off. Leo still moving forward. Around the corner goes K-Tex. Needs to go for another. Leo still not located, still not known and not found out. He's still pushing forward, and he's found a quick one. Back to a 3v3. Woody, great spot to be in. He'll peek out. He gets the first, but the trade is perfect. Destiny, however, has lost his teammate in the meanwhile. Niton in his demise means Destiny's all alone, and a sloppy spray is something he simply can't afford. Bravos. A chaotic round, but they come out on top.
Yeah, Paquetá get those initial kills, and you start to think whether Bravos are just going to get plucked before they can even get that bomb down. But then that play from Leo comes in. You know, Woody holding the back lines as well as Paquetá were trying to go for the flank over towards Long. And they were able to win subsequent fights, you know, bring it to that 3-on-3. That was very quickly made 2 by Leo's rapid succession and finding another frag. So even when they meet that turmoil, Bravos are able to dig deep and find the kills that they need to. We've seen so many man advantages falter in this game entirely. The CT sides have been crumbling, and now Nathan's back on his position over at the A site, but a shot missed.
Second Molotov goes through. Niton might not. Leo doesn't notice it. Leo doesn't realize that Niton started moving over. He might still be expecting up there in Goose. And as he starts to peek, because there was a gap in the smoke, he's found out Niton and another in the meanwhile. And again, a 5-on-3 to start things off. So much of it will come down to Joda and whether he can find David in that frag over towards B. Because IDK has been tagged. Meanwhile, Joda, careful now, has to get the kill. K-Tex too good with a trade.
Oh, it's all going to come about timings because K-Tex is kind of on an island here if the smoke is thrown. Really dangerous stuff. Turtle trying to get himself out towards B. And caught in transition, K-Tex didn't want to hang around, didn't want to have to worry about both angles, and instead gets caught out trying to move into the cover of the site. 3-on-2, bomb being planted.
How's it gotten here, Michael? It was a 5-on-3 before, and Paquetá. Even when Joda goes down, you're thinking, okay, Paquetá have secured this, but now you're locked out of the B bomb site. There's still a lot of utility there. A Molotov, a couple of flashes, and a grenade, that's enough. Destiny, he's isolated. This duel's gonna come in when he can't adjust in time. All come down to Turtle. Needs to isolate out the fight, and Destiny's done it all on his own. 16 all will be found. Paquetá equalize.
Yeah, I mean, coming out of the gate into the overtime, I did wonder because we'd seen K-Tex and Niton actually switch positions. You know, K-Tex usually more over towards that mid/B area. Niton typically over towards A. And, you know, that first round of the overtime, they swapped things up. And it was honestly working out quite well, only for things to get a little bit hairy now that Bravos kind of picked up the pace towards that A site. You know, Niton missing that initial fight, but then getting, you know, they're able to get subsequent frags, you know, back to back, where even though Bravos are down in a 5-on-3 again, they're still able to make something of it. K-Tex aggro with the AWP. We love to see these aggressive lines he takes, and he could go for more. Not able to back himself up.
They don't double up onto him, Michael, and now K-Tex can back off and reposition. Niton's found another in the meanwhile. Let's go. He's put on his dancing shoes. But who's really coming to the party? Joda. Again, unable to find the frag. This is now 3 rounds in a row where an opportunity has been missed, and David is making the most of it.
Well, I don't think there's the path to recovery now. A Turtle all by his lonesome, a minute on the clock, so he has the time to work this, but not hitting the spray. It's Nithon to come up with 3 kills. We talked about coming into this map, you know, the dynamic between K-Tex and Nithon. K-Tex being so aggressive with his AWP at times, and then Nithon being there to support, play a bit more of a passive role or a bit more of a supportive AWPer in that respect. And it comes into full effect there with K-Tex going for that peak. He gets so much attention away from any sort of short presence that Nithon could just take all of these peaks so freely.
Nithon, careful now.
Got it.
Oh! Nithon.
Won't be trying that twice.
Yeah. My heart. It's going to give away pretty soon, Michael. Paquetá showed a series of dominant rounds on their T side, replicating that is in the agenda, but who sticks to the agenda these days, Michael? They're rule breakers. They're rebels. They're really hoping they can get 18.
Yeah, 1 like is equal to 1 prayer. So get the like spamming. Bravos has fought so hard to be even considered in this map.
Oh, Turtle.
Yeah, timing's really on point there, and Nithon doesn't clear the angle. Really hard to get into those positions with that AWP, and now Turtle's in the 1 and done, and David comes out swinging. So a man advantage now found for Paquetá. They can make their way off of short. Leo aggro off of long, and K-Tex is waiting for him.
Paquetá, flashbang won't matter. The bomb's been dropped. Woody re-peeks out into it. David, however, is caught by Danoka, who rotates over. Now the USB spam is there as well. K-Tex has the opportunity to take them both down. They don't have much HP, and Woody's the first one who's going to be contesting inside a dissipating smoke, and AK picked up. Woody can't get it done, and as K-Tex is backing off, he's been tagged as well through the door. Bomb still on the opposite side of it. K-Tex knows that it is not his round to try and bring out. He needs to find the kill. Inside the smoke goes Danoka, and K-Tex finds the frag. Overtime has been all him.
And another round where it's a 1vx for K-Tex. And he delivers. If you saw the radar, how many players died towards mid, Paquetá got such a nice early advantage. And then all of a sudden, that double AWP setup from Bravos just picking them apart as they're trying to collect their thoughts into what's supposed to be an A or a B-sided finish. Only for K-Tex to bail them out of a dicey situation. Now, Paquetá in a driver's position where they can try and make the most of it. The AWP strike first. Danoka and Nithon finding respective kills, and they will have control of long. They will have this AWP posted in a position. Meanwhile, that bomb is still sitting over towards B and looking for a timing.
Getting into the B bomb side is going to be incredibly difficult. You don't have the third player to be able to flash you over, so you're relying on peeking out dry and catching the timing. Turtle's position is not an expected one. Very unorthodox, but the secondary swing means K-Tex can get the frag. Peek out from Danoka. They're not smoking this out yet. A flashbang over, and a Deagle's what is his only friend. No CTs to come through just yet. Not in time, at least. An IDK smoked off. Danoka is cut off. Paquetá. 1 more round. It's all they need. IDK around the corner of that smoke. Joda will need to find the frag. 2 on 4. B-bomb side to breach. Nothing's easy about this round, and Wood 7 burning alive won't make it any more easy. Joda with a quick 2, has a chance, could catch out the player, returns it back to a 1v1, is looking for the AK but can't get it done. Another 1v1 where Paquetá are able to come through